Welcome to Odaiba in Tokyo, Japan. Now, I'm sure we're all super familiar with the Unicorn Gundam at Diver City, but I wanted to take you on a tour of the wider area, this waterfront entertainment district in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're going to check out some of the attractions together and appreciate the photogrammetry here that Asobo have provided for us in the sim. So as we leave Diver City, if you were walking from a Gundam, you'd take a right from the West Promenade here. We're going to fly across this bridge as if we were walking down it, so just ahead of us in the distance there is the Rainbow Bridge that crosses Tokyo Bay. On our left is the Grand Nikko Resort Hotel, and on our right is the famous Fuji television building. So the photogrammetry didn't do a great job of this, but it's a super cool building, and look it up on Google Images if you can, because the structure is just immense. As we continue to fly over the pedestrianised bridge that crosses the expressway, just coming into view on our right beyond Fuji Television is Aqua City. Aqua City is another huge shopping mall which is home to all kinds of shops and restaurants. The building on the left, just opposite Aqua City, is the Tokyo Hilton Hotel. As we fly past Fuji Television and Aqua City here, we're going to fly around to the right, and we're going to fly past all the waterfront restaurants and outlets that form part of Aqua City. There's kind of like a raised promenades area. It's kind of cool that from these walkways you can't see any of the expressways or the roads at all. So literally along the left-hand side of the promenade that passes Aqua City is a road, but from the promenade itself you're treated to an uninterrupted view of Tokyo Bay. In the description below I'm going to link the walking tour video that inspired me to make this sort of aerial tour. I just wanted to make this so that I could see it from a different perspective and I could virtually visit Odaiba myself, but I also wanted to share this place with you guys. Obviously at the moment as I make this video, Japan isn't accepting any foreign tourists. So this right now is the closest we'll get to visiting this amazing place and seeing these views. On that note, if you do reside in Japan or you are familiar with this area and I make any mistakes when I'm describing stuff, please let me know in the comments below. Directly ahead of us here in the distance and moving off to our left is Odaiba Park, and coming into our view just off our nose, so if we look over the nose from the right hand window, is a miniature Statue of Liberty. It's the Odaiba Statue of Liberty. And from a distance it seems to have been captured quite nicely by Asobo's photogrammetry. So flying alongside Aqua City here, we see the raised promenade and all the various shops, restaurants and outlets that form part of it. We're going to take a look out the left window and have a look across Tokyo Bay at the Rainbow Bridge, and in the distance there is Tokyo Tower. As we look back facing Aqua City, the next building that comes into view is Tokyo Beach. This contains a big old indoor amusement park which is operated by Sega, and we can see the sign for it just passing by our right window here. The buildings beyond Tokyo Beach are the Civic Centre and the Post Office, so we're going to take a right and we're going to fly just over the Teleport Bridge, which crosses the expressway and also links with the Tokyo Teleport railway station. There's some really cool stuff over the other side of this bridge as well. Odaiba is pretty close to Haneda Airport, so if you want to explore this place in Flight Sim, start at Haneda Airport and essentially just head north. Before you know it, you'll be at Diver City. So just ahead of us and coming into view here is the giant sky wheel, which when it opened in '99 was the world's biggest Ferris wheel. I'm guessing that it was usurped by the London Eye a year later. A quick Google here tells me that the giant sky wheel is 115 metres tall and the London Eye is 135. So just before we cross the Teleport Bridge, we're going to look to our right and we can see here back across the bay and back across the promenade that extends out from Aqua City. After we've crossed the Teleport Bridge, we'll soon be in Pallet Town, just like Pokemon, right? So Pallet Town is home to a few attractions, which I'm going to describe as we get a little closer to it. So crossing the bridge here and looking ahead of us is Tokyo Harbour, which is a port for various ships and ferries. It's not home to cruise ships. Those dock at Tokyo International Cruise Terminal, which is kind of to the southwest of Odaiba City where we started. Coming into view now are the attractions of Pallet Town. So first of all, just ahead of us there and to the left is Megaweb. So Megaweb is a massive indoor automotive theme park. It looks a little bit like an expo centre, but it's operated by Toyota, and it is essentially a massive motor show that is literally just Toyotas. And it's also home to sort of driving experiences and other automotive attractions. We can also see that photogrammetry doesn't like Ferris wheels very much. But never mind, we'll continue, and we're going to rotate to the right here. So this is Venus Fort. This has a circular shopping plaza, an open-air shopping plaza, which is just ahead of our nose here. And below this very colourful car park inside is actually styled after like an Italian or a European street. It is absolutely stunning. If you get a chance to check out the walk-in tour, it is a spectacular looking place. It's also home to the Toyota History Garage, which is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's full of old Toyotas. If we were to continue flying our current heading here, we would eventually end up, and I mean eventually because this thing is really slow, we'd eventually end up in Yokohama at the Gundam Factory attraction, which you can actually download scenery for Flight Simulator. So let's imagine we've had a nice walk around Venus Fort and we've exited by that raised structure that's just below our nose. As we continue to fly in this direction, we're going to end up somewhere very familiar. So just past this office building here is Odaiba City, back where we started, and home to that Unicorn Gundam. So we've pretty much flown a loop around some of the main attractions of Odaiba, Odaiba City, Aqua City, the Tokyo Beach Arcade, the Tokyo Teleport Bridge, the Giant Skywheel, Megaweb, and Venus Fort in Pallet Town. But our tour doesn't end here. We're going to pull a 180 here, and we're going to go explore a little bit deeper until we've pretty much reached the Tokyo Big Sight Expo Center. The building on our left here, the office building that we just flew past, is the Odaiba City office tower, and we'll get another great look at Venus Fort and across Tokyo Bay here towards the harbour. Apparently you can see Mount Fuji from the Giant Skywheel, which sounds pretty cool. So as we fly away from Odaiba City and past Venus Fort again, we're going to cross a big pedestrian bridge, whose name I'm not going to pronounce because I'll probably get it wrong. But it was home to one of two Olympic cauldrons for the 2020 Olympics. The tall building just ahead of us to our right, which is formed of two towers and a sky bridge, which the photogrammetry has kind of butchered, is the Tokyo Bay Court Hotel. After we cross the bridge, we're going to attempt to land out the front of the TFT building, which is associated with the Tokyo Big Sight Expo Center, which we'll be able to see just after we've passed the hotel. The buildings to the left, just ahead of our nose, are the Tokyo Water Science Museum. It's the low-rise building to the left of the bridge, just in front of the gardens. And the high-rise buildings behind are part of a university campus. The TFT building is coming into view past the hotel, off our nose to the right. Essentially, it has everything in it. It's part of a big site complex, offices, shops, commercial space, everything you could imagine. Interestingly, the small building on our right that looks a little bit like a church is the Anniversaire Tokyo Bay, which is a European-themed wedding facility where you can have your perfect Old English village wedding without having to travel tens of thousands of miles. It reminds me a bit of Venus Fort, where it's this very sort of perfect idea of what Europe is supposed to be, you know, like you see in the movies, in the same way that anime gives us an idealized image of what Japan is like. So we're going to land here just outside the TFT building. Thank you very much for watching. I know this is a little bit different to the content I usually produce, but I just thought this was a really cool part of the world that we can all visit together in Flight Simulator that I wanted to share with you. Especially in the current circumstances of winter 2021, where it's incredibly difficult to get on a plane and go and see these places yourself. If you did like this little tour, please do drop me a like, and if you'd like to see even more of this content or more of my usual tutorial content, please do subscribe because I make videos fairly regularly. Take care, and I'll see you next time.